Hollywood has been propagandized. And it's an interesting thing about the left, you know? One would think that you could look around the world in the recent history of the world, and you would see every time socialism or communism, Marxism, takes root in a country, the country is destroyed in some way.
Movie star Jon Voight has spoken out against the woke movement's impact on Hollywood and the creativity in filmmaking.
All the stuff that's going on further in our universities and in our schools that's damaging our children. And this is backed by most of Hollywood.
As a star of films like Mission Impossible and many other box office hits, Voight is well positioned to challenge and confront woke culture in the industry. In an interview with Ben Shapiro, Jon critiques the use of racial bias and rhetoric in the movie industry.
Well, we've gotten off a little bit. Not a little bit, we've gotten off. And we think that we're doing something, these people think that they're doing something generous and kind. This racial disturbance that we're looking at was created.
One thing to note here is Voight's take on the relatively new influx of woke ideas. He completely breaks down the encroachment of woke ideas into Hollywood and its aim.
If you look back at we mentioned the Frankfurt School. Some of the stuff that they talked about, gender stuff and stuff like that, it was inserted into this society to break the family, to break the churches, to destroy some of the fabric that keeps our country together. And that's what you're participating in.
Jon believes that this new move that requires movie producers to include certain minorities and races in movie casts has no place in the creative field. It is harmful and serves no actual purpose in storytelling, apart from fostering the woke agenda.
People say, what about Black Lives Matter, Jon? And I say, well, if you're teaching children that they are victims, I say it's child abuse.
Voight went further to explain how deadly the woke virus is, a disease created to break society apart. And looking at what the movement has done today, it's obvious there's an attack against the fabrics of the family and all forms of faith.
We have every child can do, they're God's gift. Pave the way for them to be their best selves. Don't tell them that they can't do this or can't do that.
Voight, boldly speaking on this issue without holding back, describes the extremism of the Black Lives Movement, where kids are convinced to see themselves as victims is a form of child abuse. This is a bold statement that only someone with real guts can state on live television.
You can make a film with an iPhone or something, They have this technology these days. Everybody's got it, every kid's got it. So, yes, things are going to change, but there'll always be artists that use this paint, in some way to give us something. And they have to be sound of mind and heart. That's what they have to be.
His comment on the possibility of change is heartwarming. With the new wave of technology, Hollywood's monopoly over movie production is dropping. And as woke culture grows, more and more people are choosing not to follow it. Voight went on to mention the place of God in the movement to end the woke culture. The subject of God has been abandoned in Hollywood since the rise of the woke culture. But Voight is still of the fold, fearlessly willing to mention God as part of their daily lives.
I've understood the importance of God. And I'm a person who loves all people of all faiths. God has a way of helping the good, And now is the time when we need God most. And I think that something is going to happen here.
As a conservative in Hollywood, Voight has had a lot to say about his experience being such an odd piece in the very center of woke culture. His solid Christian belief hasn't done much to put him in a good light before the media, but his faith is one of the main driving forces of his firm conviction against the values of woke culture. Here's an example on how faith has helped him.
I found myself on the floor saying, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. I said it out loud. And I heard in my ear. It's supposed to be difficult.
Who would ever think a phrase would go a long way to humiliate the woke ideology? Well, this next interview is where Voight made the famous "say my piece" statement, which has become iconic in the fight against woke culture.
I'm an interesting person to myself. I'm interesting, very interesting guy.
I definitely think you're interesting.
I know where I stand, and I have to say my piece if I'm going to say it.
Voight talked about his genuine passion for the art and creativity of the filmmaking field. He was nearly brought to tears during this part of the interview, as he showed just how much he cared about the art form currently being flooded by woke culture. It only takes someone with intense passion to speak out boldly against those bent on ruining the craft.
And I don't know why it touches me so much, but I think it's, it's just because of the value of our work and the appreciation for the greatness.
Voight's political views have been clearly expressed. Jon Voight is a conservative who has never been afraid to declare his support for the Republican Party. Despite the fact that most actors are left-leaning, the conservative Jon Voight has, on countless occasions, expressed his deep support for conservative views.
I think it's a way of exposing the truth. It's here we have these people in bad behavior. I'll say, I look at the statements of Nancy Pelosi. I look at this fellow Schiff, Adam Schiff. I say, it's pretty clear there's something wrong here. These people are not well. And the audience is seeing the bottom line, just as they're seeing the bottom line with these debates.
From as far back as Donald Trump's first election, Jon Voight has remained consistent in his support for Trump. This unwavering stance serves as a direct challenge to the woke media, which frequently portrays Donald Trump as a primary adversary. Voight's loyalty is seen as a bold defiance of this narrative.
Donald Trump is an extraordinary fellow and has accomplished much in his life.
Voight has always been very bold in speaking up about his beliefs, and this is a trait not common among the majority of celebrities today who cower under the control of the woke press. The system of cancel culture and speech policing has worked for many celebrities, but for Voight, it doesn't have the same effect. An interviewer once mentioned Voight's colleagues in Hollywood's reluctance to adopt his views, and his reply was straightforward.
They're buying whatever the Democrat Party puts out. They don't have much of a reputation for the truth.
Jons Message: not everyone has the guts and willpower to say no to the woke media and the left's agenda. Only a few have made it out of the left's rhetoric and bias, and those who did had to deal with a lot of backlash and cancellation. Voight has shared strong opinions about the new administration. He's been clear in his criticism of Biden and his government, believing that the woke-influenced leadership has caused serious problems for the country.
We must protect this nation and bring back safety. We're all feeling very unsafe. We're all angry.
Jon Voight's direct criticism of the failures of the woke government highlights his courage and readiness to address issues openly. While many people share his perspectives, few possess the bravery to call out societal flaws. He is a steadfast advocate for truth, undeterred by bullying or the pressures of cancel culture. His unwavering commitment to speaking his mind ensures that he stands firm in sharing what he believes is right, even when confronted with deception or widespread falsehoods. So what do you think? Is cancel culture necessary to hold people accountable, or has it gone too far, limiting free speech and stifling open debate? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest conversations about woke culture.